My ex came back demanding I pay her child support. 7 years ago, I was married to my ex. We were together for 6 years at this point. I thought we had a great relationship. A year prior, I received a nice inheritance. I used the money first to buy a condo for us to live, a new car for her because hers was falling apart as a thank you for her constant support over the years, and the rest went to starting my own company. I thought we loved each other. We had talked endless times about kids, and we both wanted a family. One day I came home from work. She was seated in the couch and signaled for me to sit with her. Then she told me she was pregnant. I was happy for like a half a millisecond. I always wanted kids. But when I realized about the impossibility of this happening, because we were both women, I started to cry for what it meant. Then she started to cry and say sorry, but that this could be a good thing now. Incredulously, I asked how on earth could this be a good thing? She said that this could be the perfect opportunity for us to have the family we always wanted. I didn't have the energy to argue at that moment. So I went to pack some things and told her I was gonna be staying with my cousin for a few days and come back to talk. I was a complete disaster with my cousin for a week. Then I returned, said I wanted a divorce, packed all the rest of my things, while she tells me that she can't do it without me and that I'm abandoning our child. I said nothing. I couldn't speak. I didn't have it in me to do anything but pack and leave. In the divorce, I let her have the condo, her car which was on my name. She demanded alimony. I gave it to her for a year, even though she wasn't really entitled to it. Then she demanded child support, but was denied for obvious reasons. A year later, it was done. A month before the divorce was finalized, I met a woman. I wasn't sure about dating, but my friends encouraged me to get back out there, so I did. It was slow. I told her about my past and she felt really bad for me. We went on dates. We kissed. Then she stopped responding my texts and calls for a week. I didn't know what was happening. She then shows up at my home looking sad. She tells me she's pregnant, to which I think, not again. But she quickly explained that she found out a few days ago. She had an appointment that day and was told she was about 16 weeks along, that she did not cheat since we had known each other the past 3 months, that she knows this might be somehow triggering for me, that she really likes me, but understands if I want nothing to do with her and left. Ultimately, I couldn't let her go, and we stayed together. The whole ordeal was a bit confusing at first, but we worked it out. Now my company's on the rise, and it's been for years. We bought a house, got married, had 2 more kids, a dog and a cat. Her family loves me. My family loves her. But then last Saturday, my ex had to appear again. We were in a family gathering on my wife's side when she showed up to my wife's aunt's house to expose me as a horrible person who abandoned her wife and child and left them with nothing, to go start a new family with a cheap woman and raise someone else's child. And that since I have money, I have to start paying the overdue child support blah blah blah. Apparently, she befriended my wife's cousin's wife in PTA and told her about me. She gave my name, and wife's cousin's wife was shocked and appalled by my actions, and decided they were going to confront me in the family gathering for everyone to hear and show them the evidence. Me and my wife were inside with one of her sisters, getting snacks for the kids when we heard a commotion outside and went to see what was happening. And there she was, halfway through her story showing IUI documents, stating I was part of the process, hence responsible for the child. It's fake, but it has my name on it, so I think that's why they believed her so quickly. My wife tried to argue back, but was cut off by her aunt, cousin's mom, and in not a very nice way, kicked us out with a promise to take my treatment of my ex public and ruin my company. We left stunned, and my wife vowed she was going to start World War III if anyone dared to slander me. On Sunday morning, we got a call from my wife's dad, aunt's brother, to talk about what the texts and voicemails they were receiving were about as they didn't go to the gathering. We went over for lunch and explained everything that happened. They knew I got divorced in the past, but I never told them why. They were understanding of the situation, but my mother-in-law still said that since I do have money, I should help my ex out, pay the child support, get her a place if she needs it, and be a parental figure in my ex's daughter's life, because after all, the child was conceived during your marriage. She has some odd spiritual beliefs. My wife is now mad at her mom for saying that, My wife's siblings are mostly on our side, except one who's close to cousin, and cousin believes his wife, and we've been ignoring the extended family. Thank you for existing, dear ex. Edit? I didn't think it was such a serious legal issue yet. I thought I couldn't sue her until my company somehow starts suffering from it, but I will call my lawyer tomorrow. Now for the top advice. OP, stop talking to any of these people and get a good lawyer. I know it's hard to not speak up and defend yourself, but you're going to end up in court, either over the child support or the defamation. And you need legal advice, plus a strategy before saying anything more. Please protect your assets and lawyer up. May not be a bad idea to get a restraining order. The court probably had a bio dad that is either making payments or is actively avoiding, and your ex is just jealous of the life you've established. You have to nip this on the bud, and court will be the best way of doing this. I think they jumped the gun, because me and my wife along with one of her sisters were inside grabbing more snacks for the kids, and when we came out to what the commotion was, half her story was already been told, and she made up facts about doing IUI and she had papers as her evidence. And can she actually take me to court over child support? The kid is obviously not mine. Stop arguing with us and argue with a bloody lawyer. Do not minimize this. It could be the demise of your business and your success through malicious slander. Act. Didn't the courts already deny child support? Send the supporting documents to the family as a whole and let them know if they still believe the lies, that is their right, as is your right to cut them off from you and your family. As an end note, add in if word of slander gets around, you will be suing the offending parties who helped spread the lies. Yes, court already denied it because it was ridiculous. Why aren't you more angry that your kids were exposed to this BS? And these people, your alleged family, betrayed you so readily? I'd be cutting everyone out and lawyering up to stop crazy pants from showing up again with some restraining orders. I am fuming over this, but they didn't say anything about my kids, and they were distracted playing when this went down. And they were not happy when we took them home and couldn't play more, and were mad at us for ruining their fun with their cousins. So I don't think they know anything about what's going on. Last story. Update. I thought I had forgiven my husband for cheating on me until I fell in love with someone else. I, 34 female, have been with my husband Will, 38 male, for 10 years, married for 7. We have a child, 5 male. 4 years ago, I found out he was having an affair. A story as old as time itself. The classic signs were all there. Distant, long work hours, smiling at his phone, etc. So one day after we went to bed, I checked his phone and found out it was the fresh graduate, 23 female at that time, that joined his company the previous year. From the messages, it was both physical and emotional affair that has been going on for at least 6 months. The cheap hotel meetups was hard to read about, but what was worse was how emotionally connected he was, calling each other nicknames, doing things that were historically our things. No, it was too much. I took all screenshots, packed my bags for my kid and I, called my brother to come pick me up from my parents' house. And when my brother arrived, woke my husband to tell him I was leaving. By the end of the week, I had already had a consultation with a lawyer. There was no going back. For the next 2 years, yes, years not months, my husband tried relentlessly to win me back. He did everything, and he did everything right. Begging and groveling, said he was blinded by the attention he got, cut off the girl immediately, switched jobs within 2 months, booked counseling sessions that he begged me to attend, made progress in counseling, read books, you name it. He was visiting our son almost every day after work and weekends. When he wasn't here, he would text me where he was. Also shared his location. I saw a genuine and consistent change and remorse in him, and after 6 months, me and the baby moved back with him. Things did get better and better every day for the next 1.5 years, until we reached the normal state that we are now. I can't explain why or what it is, but during the last 4 years, I feel like I have been in an emotional limbo. Things are normal, as I said. We go on dates, be intimate, have family, just like before. But I feel emotionally detached from him. Like I can't be all in. I know I have forgiven him, and now I don't even think about the affair every day. Neither do I have any reason to doubt him anymore. But I also don't feel this love for him like before. He seems to think we are back to our old relationship, but I feel like we are very friendly roommates that smile and wave and just go with the flow. I thought this was my new reality and I was never gonna get the old me back. Until I met Jake. I met Jake, 35 male, about a year ago on our local subreddit. He posted about a hobby we share and I commented. It's a rather uncommon hobby, so not many people have interest in it. Then DM, chit-chat and such. The first month was nothing but talk of this hobby. Then we slowly started to get to know each other. He is a widower, and I told him I have a family. We met a few times for coffee after work and for the hobby. Yes, my husband knows that I am meeting this new friend Jake for the hobby, though he doesn't know I found Jake on Reddit. I don't know how to word it properly, but I am finally happy and back to my old self, and the reason for that is Jake. We have fallen for each other over the last year, and have confessed our feelings for each other. I never thought I would feel this way again, and yet here I am. We have never done anything physical, only met in public. But this is certainly emotional infidelity towards my husband. On one hand, I understand that emotions are not rational and it is my husband's doing that we are here. But on the other hand, I feel extremely guilty because he has been trying so hard to reconcile. I also feel so angry at him these days for putting me in this position. Also, in the middle of all this, I am in pain that I can't be with Jake, and I'm shackled to my married life. Jake says he understands my duties as a mother and would never ask me to do anything I didn't want to, but he was there for me and my kid if I wanted. I don't know why I made this post, maybe to clear my head. What do I do? Where do I go from here? Do I torpedo my marriage and all the hard work we have put into reconciliation to pursue a fling with someone I just met that may or may not turn into anything serious? Do I wipe him out and go back to whatever limbo of a marriage that I have left and just suck it up? Now for the top comments before reading the update. I think possibly you've fallen out of love with your husband. Speaking from experience, I'm not sure if you can ever get that back. Totally agree with what you said. I just want to add that I hope the OP stops feeling guilty over this. I'm talking about falling out of love. She does not have to feel guilty since it was a consequence of her husband's infidelity and it happened before she met the other guy. You stayed for various reasons but still held resentment. The relationship is not the same anymore. Even before you met Jake, your feelings toward your husband had already changed. You detached from him since the affair. All the things you described that he shared with the affair partner were no longer ours. He caused immense pain and betrayed a trust that is no longer the same. Do what's best for you. If you no longer love him, it's best to let him go. Best to be honest, the affair broke the attachment and trust you once held for him. There is no way of erasing what he did to you and the pain inflicted. You have love for him as your son's father, but that's it from what you are describing. Don't go on with a facade in loveless marriage. It's unfair to both of you. 100% this. I am 51 and married many years. My hubby cheated, and I too came back after he put in the work. I cannot say that I have fully forgiven him, and I do often wonder if I had just divorced him, would I be better off now? I can truly say a piece of my heart died, and no matter how hard he tried, my heart never was healed. Our lives are back to the way before the cheating. I can't tell you to divorce Opie, but I sometimes wish I did. In 2019, my best friend found out that her husband had an affair. It took her about 2 years to process all the emotions and try to save a 20-plus year marriage. The divorce was finalized in 2022. Perhaps you've put in the work, and after consideration, you want to move in a new direction. You can forgive your husband and no longer want to be married. These are not mutually exclusive. Agree. I think OP you're stuck on a timeline. Like he was good for 2 years. So what? It's the sheet of paper. You can crumple and tear it. And while you can straighten and tape it back together, the damage is done. Emotionally processing the end of your relationship does not have a time limit. Now for the update. I made a post here in early January about my husband's affair and subsequently my emotional affair. Thank you to everyone who read it and commented, most of which were surprisingly supportive. I don't know why I even made the original post. I guess I was feeling really down around Christmas and New Year's and just wanted to vent and even have someone talk some sense into me. But Redditors have helped me see things more clearly, and I'm grateful to you for that. A lot has happened since then, but if you don't want to read it all, here's the summary. I have started the divorce proceedings with my husband, and we're working out the legalities. I don't know where I stand with Jake. First, answers to some frequently asked questions. Yes, we both have jobs and financial independence. Is my husband still cheating on me? Well, I honestly couldn't say. But based on the data I have on hand, his behavior, his phone activity, involvement with a kid and myself, time accounted for, no work travels or anything, I'm fairly certain he's not. But who knows if he's a master manipulator. The hobby that Jake and I share is fairly niche, and I don't want to reveal it in case someone identifies us. We have made other friends there too. But it's nothing sporty or physical. Think more like pottery or painting, although they're not niche. Some people ask why I haven't given any thought to my son in all this. I think they're missing the point. Firstly, what relevance info could I post about him? And secondly, why do you think I reconciled with my husband? Certainly not for me. Whatever we decide, our son will be our priority and will taken care of. I'll keep him out of this post too. On to the update. I read all the comments and all that was said here, and finally had the courage to admit that yes, this was a sham marriage. I was not proud of my own actions, but I had to go. A few days after I posted, I went out with Jake. I told him I couldn't do this right now. This wasn't me, and more importantly, I needed to focus on my mess. I don't know what future holds, but for now we'd have to stop. He said he understood and supported my decision, and would be there if I wanted to reach out. That's the end of that. In the meantime, I disclosed some of this to my closest friends and family. They all supported me and been there for me. My best friend also helped me plan and process all this, find a lawyer, go to appointments, etc. I have been strategizing the legal aspects for the last couple of months. About 2 weeks ago, I had to sit down with my husband and ask him for a divorce. It wasn't pretty. He was surprised, desperate, sad, angry. A lot was said, some of which I'm not proud of. He begged me to work on it, was surprised when I brought up his affair, was angry that I led him on for 4 years. I asked him if he was sad because he missed out on his chance with his affair partner. Because let's face it, cheaters beg for their partner, and when a partner turns them down, they go right back to affair partner, as if they had a backup plan all along. This hurt him a lot and I shouldn't have said it, but I've been thinking about it for 4 years. I told him about Jake as well, but made it clear that regardless of that, I'll be leaving. I just couldn't trust him anymore. I was at my lowest point during a very difficult pregnancy and birth, all of which he was there for. He saw me struggle to breastfeed a baby, suffer from sleep deprivation, go through all of this. But instead of supporting his wife and son, how did he have the time to go have an affair? I can't wrap my head around that. He has been sleeping in a guest room since then. We have had many conversations since then, and I think he is finally getting around to accepting that it's over. He'll move out this weekend. We've agreed to keep things civil, but we'll see how it goes. Thank you for taking the time to read it. Good night.